Didgeridoo TV here for Marketing Facts at the conference Beyond Enterprise 2.0 here in Amsterdam. And next to me is Andrew Barendrecht. And that sounds very, very, very Dutch. Andrew, what's your background?
Well, my background, personally, I was actually born in New Zealand but grew up in Holland, so both nationalities. I've worked for the last 18 years in collaboration, knowledge management, everything from the touchy-feely cultural change to the hardstick type of implementations of records management compliance. So I've done everything in that realm, and I understand the challenges on both sides of the coin in that sense. Okay, so Dutch roots you have. That must be good to be in Amsterdam. Yes, it's nice to be back.
And you work for Apache.
That's correct.
Now, maybe not everybody is aware what Apache... Yeah, it's a helicopter and it are Indians, but probably there's a bit more to Apache.
No, Apache Corporation is a company based out of Houston, Texas. They have operations all around the world, and they focus on the oil and gas industry, so mainly the exploration and production of oil and gas. It's a reasonably small company, 4,000 to 6,000, depending if you count contractors. But operating in quite a wide environment, everywhere from Egypt to Argentina to Australia to Canada, all around the world essentially.
So it's a global company, but it's relatively small compared to, let's say, the big players in the oil industry.
Yes, indeed. But it does compete on quite an active level in the sense of its investments, specifically in the drilling and completions area. We do invest quite a large percentage if you compare ourselves to the larger corporations. So we are quite active in that area. We have less corporate overhead in that sense, so we can operate very, very fast and lean and focused.
And recently you started to implement an Enterprise 2.0 solution to improve collaboration and communication within Apache. And what was the reason to do this?
The reason was to really connect the autonomous units that we have all around the world. We have very highly skilled, strong individuals, strong groups all around the world, but we were looking to share the experience of these groups with each other. You know, when you're drilling a well in one area, the learnings and the application of that well can be transmitted to the other groups around the world, and that's where we needed to foster that enterprise spirit, but focus it around helping the world, basically, the rest of the world.
Now, draw this picture a bit clearer to me, because in my, layman view, I see tough guys with covered in oil, drilling holes in the ground and drilling for oil, and that doesn't really connect with collaborating through a laptop. How does this actually work? How do these teams in the field use corporate social software?
Well, the way of there's always a little bit of oil involved out in the field, but the way that we look to collaborate is to actually connect the people out in the field utilizing their iPhone. We have iPhones as our standard phone throughout the corporation, which you typically wouldn't imagine in the oil and gas business, but we are very forward-thinking in our applications of IT. The people out in the field can actually go out in the field, take a picture of something that they want to share with the community on their iPhone and post it directly from their phone into the community and have the discussions around that. So we find it very powerful to engage the guys out in the field and really help them out on their day-to-day problems. So typically you have people out in the field, you have sometimes more centralized teams that have ranges of specific experts that can actually very easily now communicate with the field and help the guys out in the field much easier now.
So this is as mobile as you can get.
Yes.
And how was that? Because was that difficult to implement? How was that adopted by the workforce?
The adoption went very, very fast. You know, was quite interesting is that no matter what background you have, the impact of the mobile technology, the iPad technology, is everywhere within our corporation, within their Sunday experience, so to speak. So what we're trying to do is to take their Sunday experience into the Monday experience, so they can do the same types of things they can do at home, but then in a work-oriented environment. So we look to leverage the fact that they all have iPhones anyway. They all have iPads, their own personal iPads. We enable those type of environments. We are very open and agnostic in the sense of what phone you want to have. If you want to have a BlackBerry or an Android, we allow that as well. But the key thing is that everyone is now moving to smartphones. Everyone knows how to use a smartphone, you know, and that's what we're leveraging. So the adoption really happened the easiest and fastest through that enabling technology. Now, for people that don't use smartphones or don't like smartphones, we have bridging technologies where you can actually utilize email that automatically posts into our collaborative environment, so people are never exposed to the environment if they don't want to, but they can still share their experiences. And that's the kind of the power of the tools that we're utilizing to be able to do this.
And you're part of the team that, let's say, implements and let's say manages this as a sort of a community manager. How large is your team?
The team comprises of 3 people. One person has an engineering, oil and gas background. Myself, I'm more of a collaboration, information management, knowledge management background. And the third person we've just brought on board has a journalist background. We find it quite important when engaging with the various groups and the various people to have someone that has the right style of engagement, the right style of questioning and answering. She actually has a journalist, a TV journalist background and study. So equally, how you interview me, she knows how to present herself, knows how to engage in the right way with various groups. So it becomes quite important to have that type of mix within your team of a skill set. You don't all want to be engineers. You don't all want to be change agents. You want to find the right mix of skills. Now, the team is only very, very small, but we're very, very focused in rolling out and engaging with those people that need the help with the social tools, which typically is not always that needed, but we like to have that one-on-one engagement to truly understand the drivers of a person individually.
But does that mean that you're also meeting them in person, or do you everything online?
We meet with them in person. The first time we meet with them in person, and then from that point forward we do it virtually. So we do campaigns where we go around the regions and actually sit with the people individually. We do what I call the traditional method and do the lunch and learns and the presentation. Bring some lunch, they'll show up. From that point forward, we follow up with them individually. We actually sit down with this. So what is it you do? What do you like doing? What interests you? You can walk into someone's office and there's one person that had pictures of tractors, and he actually collected tractors, believe it or not. But you connect with the people in that sense, and then take that and then apply it to their passion, what makes them passionate about their work, and try to have them share that passion in the social media, because that's the secondary step, having them connect with each other and talk to each other, but then finding the right types of questions and answers is another level of maturity that you need to reach.
So you combine online with offline, and actually you add to, let's say, the business information, you also add some personal human interest subjects.
We don't do the personal interest subjects. One of the biggest challenges that I've seen in other implementations in other corporations is actually the personal interaction and the business interaction all in one environment can actually disrupt the focus around your business elements. So we do keep it fun, but we keep the fun things as not the main driver. I've seen social network environments kicked off with the bike club and the book club and the other things. And there's a lot of social interest in discussions around that. But once the business use comes in, it becomes a distraction.
Okay, so all in the right balance.
All in the right balance.
Now, final question. How do you measure success? Because there's one question before that. We talk about how many employees. I don't remember you've said that. How many employees does Apache have?
It's about 4,000 employees who are growing literally every month as we have acquisitions. I think it's up to 7,000 contractors and employees together. So if you count the contractors, it's up to 7,000. Okay,
so how do you measure the success of this? I mean, somewhere you have to have proof that this is working. I mean, the big word, what's the ROI?
Well, for us, we really have a very lean organization, and our focus truly is getting the job done as efficiently as possible and as safe as possible. For us to spend too much time on measuring something that really makes sense, we don't spend that time on ROI. We don't focus on ROI. Our leadership understands that this is necessary and is needed, so we don't.
Hold on. You don't measure ROI?
We don't measure the ROI. Not of this type of application. It just makes sense.
You don't measure ROI, it just makes sense. Well, I call that the quote of the day. So that's something you really need to remember. And I think we need to bring that message across to a lot of other organizations who focus a lot on ROI. But as Andrew says, as long as it makes sense, do you really need to measure and spend time measuring the ROI? Andrew, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much.